Hi everyone, I'm Prakash. I work at Atlassian. I've been there for 6 years. I do two things actually as part of my day job. One is I lead the data engineering function.
Okay.
And as part of that, a lot of agentic and AI innovation that we're doing with the data engineering analytics and the data ecosystem, that part of internal AI enablement is something that I'm leading. With a little bit of a flavor of governance now that we are introducing a lot of these capabilities on the data that we have. It's really important for us that we make sure that the usage of AI is safe on the data that we have on the enterprise scale. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So governance is actually an interesting topic, right? Like, so in my mind, I'm actually looking at human-driven workflows versus automatable workflows, right? So, and then there's this fine distinction between automation and autonomy. And at what point do you cross over from automation into autonomy? Because I don't think like fully autonomous agency can be acquired at scale with the use of LLMs as we are using today, right? So at least that's how my brain is inclined to think.
100%.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, again, whatever I say is my representation of what I think of Atlassian products, right? Atlassian has really amazing product leaders and product focus to build the products for future, right? Like you said, we have built Atlassian products so far the last 20 years for humans. All the workflows in Jira, Confluence that you see today were built for humans to interact, do things, track their work, manage the context in Confluence, wherever it is. All the options to transition state of starting the work, collaborating between different team members, creating subtasks, assigning work to people and getting it done. It was all driven through human in mind. But I believe the next wave of it, as like you said, is maybe not autonomous right away. As a first leap function would be humans and agents working together as a team, as a co-working team, where if a team, an engineering team or a product team, whichever team it is, if they have series of tasks that could be done by agents today, specialized agents to do certain things, that could be a teammate working with a team to do with a human in the loop, human control, if you will, right? Where humans can review the work, assign the work, place the guardrails of what is expectations, what are the asks we are making of it, and then ensuring that we can review the work and get it to production, right? I feel like that's the natural leap that many companies are taking.
Yeah.
Within Atlassian, yes, we have started doing that too. I think a few weeks ago, our chief product officer announced that Atlassian is now opening up general availability of folks who use Atlassian products to now work with agents on the Jira tickets itself. You can assign now an agent, as long as the Jira ticket has all the context that agent needs to know. We do have products that can, like Rovo is our agentic AI
I was about to ask
system.
about Rovo,
so Rovo can actually code for you. It can accomplish the task for you, right? Or you can even build your own agents as well, like people do today.
So, this is actually interesting because in our company at Volt Active Data, we use quite a bit of LLM-based triaging and code refactoring and things of that sort. So I tried vibe coding sort of a thing, when we are actually going back and forth, and at some point, basically, the engine that I was using said let's scratch everything and let's start from a fresh slate. And I got your requirements. I'll regen all the code on a fresh slate, clean slate, because I think it's more efficient than, it's very conversational and explaining, it makes sense. But once it becomes a black box, and how much time do you see, I'm thinking from metric standpoint, you should be able to see how much of the generated code is having a second, third, fourth touch to make it production ready, scale ready, absorption ready, integration ready, right? So
that's a great question. I don't know if you saw the blog coming out of Claude that now they have this feature in Claude Code where you can give it a goal and say, do not stop until you achieve this goal. Right?
Yes, I saw.
So Claude can actually keep trying multiple times, and as long as it doesn't meet the goal, you can give parameters saying, hey, if you build this app, it needs to meet this criteria, right? Claude will keep recoding it from scratch all over again until it meets it. So you can use different technology, different paradigms. That's in a way a bit scary, right? It's like the world where you just give it a task and a goal and say, keep doing, don't stop. Right? You can keep burning your tokens, keep doing stuff for you. But I guess when I look at it from an enterprise and corporate standpoint, I look at it from a total cost of ownership, right? Today, if something takes 10 days to do, just take an example, and now you're introducing power of AI to do that, what is the total cost of ownership when you really give it to an AI to do? after the fact AI has completed the work,
Yeah.
is there a human babysitting the code? Is a human looking at the code written by the Claude or
Right,
AI
good
and
point,
seeing,
yeah.
oh, is this code not built for scale? For example, they are retouching the code. So I think when you look at the end-to-end, right now, I definitely see, at least from what I've heard from talking to other leaders and within the company as well, we are seeing efficiencies, but we
Okay.
are yet to see the fine print of the total cost of ownership
Right,
everywhere.
right.
We're
Like,
all
so-
looking at the first few steps. Oh, we can code faster now. Great.
Yes.
What happens after?
You can get to the MVP much faster, but then once you integrate like, the social concerns of scale, security, governance, reportability, compliance, how much of this these need to be intertwined into every layer of so-called layer cake, right? Like so.
Yeah.
But if we are giving it to an automation engine, like does it actually do that efficiently? Or does it take compute for granted at that point? Actually, like I'm the age-old debate between systems engineering versus application engineering. Like, so one cares about resource usage, the
Yeah.
other cares about functional delivery.
I think compute is getting cheaper every day. Token cost is getting cheaper. That means, we can ask an AI agent to do the same thing an infinite number of times without spending the same amount of cost or, that a human would do, right? Which is great. We can
Yeah.
now do a lot more. But like you're saying, I believe there is a missing layer where I see many companies, and even in my own company, folks build their own custom agents that does a task really very well.
Right,
We
okay.
provide localized context to that agent using agent MD file and say, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, this is
Yeah.
a context for you, etc. But what happens when you have agents to agents like collaboration ecosystem, or you have a supervisory agent that dispatches a series of tasks to several agents? It's hard to scale when you have context scattered around several sub-agents.
Yeah.
And that's where, if any one of you were in the Gartner Summit just a few weeks ago, Gartner said it in their opening speech, context is king, and a lot of investment is currently happening across industries to build a real-time, unified context layer that can sitting somewhere that the AI agents can refer to runtime to understand, I have
Okay.
my own context right now, I know what I want
Oh,
to do.
you mean like enterprise-wide context?
Enterprise-wide context, correct.
Like a discoverable registry of context
That's right.
that agents can actually come to.
A
Okay.
context which
Okay.
contains policy, which contains, let's say, governance principles, what an agent is supposed to do before it says my task is done, right?
Yeah.
How do we understand after the fact an agent has done something, do we have enough telemetry to know what was the intent behind the
Right.
agent's
Yeah.
action? What context did it have at the time of running? What actions did it take? And then do we have a automated or a manual annotation framework to say, did it do the right thing or not? And then
Yeah.
use that as a feedback loop to keep training, keep getting it better. I think that's a secret sauce that I think many companies are starting to just figure out and go one step at a time. However, just to kind of go back to your first question, LLMs is the foundational technology on top of which you're building all of these things. LLMs are, by theory, auto-completion of tokens, right? When you ask a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
It is non-deterministic. It will have certain amount of ambiguity. Every time you ask it a question, it may not give you the same answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Until the industry as a whole, I'm looking at big companies like OpenAI and
Yeah,
Claude and all these foundation model building companies, when they figure out a way that LLMs can become deterministic, they can give the same answer no matter how many times you ask the same context. That's when we'll start to see the agentic revolution get even more prevalent in companies, because companies can start to trust the output of each step the agent takes. Until then, it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
It works in some cases, it doesn't work in some cases. Instead of going horizontal capabilities, companies will go vertical slices. Let me take one use case end to end and try to see if I can automate it, right?
Right,
I think,
right. Like, so you, at least let me get the straight line scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm actually glad that you said determinism. I didn't want to start with that topic at all because that's one of the things that is in my head. But I wanted to see like if you would actually arrive there also, like, and I'm glad that you came there. Like, one of the things that we actually see at Volt is like we operate on like automation scale, right? Like, so think of like event-driven automation scale and not human-driven scale. Like usually human-driven workloads are a no-go for us because they don't need like the 10 millisecond response time that we actually provide. And this is where the challenge comes that like, what is that negotiation contract looking like as going back and forth? And even in human-driven workload that is being agentified, so to speak, it becomes like a graph problem, right? Like, so is it unbounded? You cannot be unbounded because the reviewer and the creator are going to go back and forth. you have to have a bound at which saying like, okay, it is satisfactory. And who owns that determination of satisfaction? Like you mentioned, like, is that the supervisor agent? What will be the policies established for the supervisor agent to take that decision? It's a really, really neat problem to solve, actually. So, and within Volt, like, we basically look at it as like, this is the question that I ask about automation versus autonomousness, right? Like, so automation are things that could be done flawlessly, like, because it's known conditions, known events, known symptoms, and known response. And but there are conditions where like there's going to be ambiguity. Like it could be multiple signals and you don't know which set of signals as a complex event takes priority, and how do you actually determine what should be my next action? And this, I think, is where AI in today's form with LLMs, like, there is another whole topic that I'm researching on, like neuromorphic computing, where you could have low power consumption and contextually firing together neurons, so to speak, right? Like, so, but that's a separate topic. Today's AI is all based on LLMs. And that means that we have to use it sporadically, like where we need that human intelligence augmentation and not for mundane operations. Mundane operations to the automation crosses over for escalation. Now you get into autonomy, and that autonomy has to be, to your earlier point, governed and bounded by human oversight at this point, at least, until it's trained well.
Correct. A lot of trials, testing, manual evals needs to be done before you can let an agent do something autonomously, right? I mean, customer support, take an example of that. I think the first area where AI went and disrupted is customer support, where we used to have agent bots back in the day before AI too, and they were very rule-based, right? Based on a question, it'll go through a decision tree of rules, it'll find the answer, give you back the things. But then what AI helped us to do was, it can now ask you dynamic clarifying questions based on what you really want, what are your problems, it can ask you all the information. Then it can use all the knowledge, intelligence that we have provided to the RAG, for example, to go back and answer, provide knowledge steps to do. Or now we can do actions and say, okay, I see the problem, this is the action I think I need to do, can you confirm if I can do that? And then you say if you can do it, right? And then now I see many companies have autonomous customer support agents which will not even probably ask you anything. It can just say, I understand the problem, I've seen this multiple times before, I've been given yes to do it, I know I can do it safely now.
Well clarified and trained agents, right?
Like, I think that's the evolution for every field, every domain. It'll start with something in human in the loop, give me confirmation, is this the right thing to do? And then as you have gone through multiple iterations and it's proven to be a certain threshold accurate, as we feel comfortable, then we can go autonomous. I'm trying to do something similar for data engineering. Data engineering has been a long skill for the last 40 years. Data engineering has been around. Databases, RDBMS is now building in big data cloud world. There are many companies who are trying to create autonomous data engineering workflows where you can take data from any systems, real-time, near real-time, batch, create all the data pipelines that you need to do for reporting, analytics. Trying to see, I'm looking at the entire life cycle and trying to create, where can I create agents to do task X, Y, Z, and then branch it all together with a master agent that can do autonomously, right? That's the goal we are trying to get to. I'm still working on small bits and pieces.
Obviously. Like, I mean, but like, it goes to your earlier point that like, let's get the straight line scenario working, then we do the branch augmentation, and then now you have a full rich ecosystem. Okay, it's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. It's really a pleasure speaking with you and picking your brain on this trend that's actually changing our ecosystem. So thank you so much, Prakash.
Thank you.